guys, you're welcome. This evening I decided to actually make this video for the sake of a woman who is a follower. I can't remember her name precisely. Shout out to you if you are seeing this video. You are a mother of one or two, I think. I'm not sure, sorry about that. Then she lamented bitterly how she had been doing this bold thing or healing thing, and she has not been able to make much gain from it. She went further to explain how she literally was just working and nothing is really working there. So this video is mainly dedicated to you. Now, where I have done several videos before now, and because I couldn't get my pen, I was unable to do educative kind of videos like this around healing, and that's why I had to go get one today. You people are owing me for pen, so the first student the first person I'll have in my session on a private session definitely will be the one to pay for this pen. I got one before I lost it and I had to go get another one. So that aside, that's on the lighter note. So what we are looking at this evening is for that particular woman, and I pray God helps you. She said she wanted to use e-hailing to be the one to actually use to send a child, I think, to school, and she want to know how to do it better. So if you're going to see this one, I believe should be able to help. Now, a lot of people have said that they have done both, right? And I've seen a lot of videos as well that have said they've made a lot with both. So I decided this week myself. This video is, by the way, this video is going to be a long one. So if you are someone who is into healing and you feel you do not need this, don't bother to wait. This is going to be a long one, and I'll likely post this on my YouTube to continue, because I can't post the whole thing here. So it's an educational video and it's definitely going to take time. So that said, let's move on to the real deal. How much does Bolt really pay you per kilometer? In previous videos, I've explained how to calculate per kilometer, and I don't know why a lot of people are still yet to get that, but I know I've done several videos. So if you still want to see that again, you want me to do it in this format to explain it this way, kindly hit me up in my DM. Kindly comment. I need it, so I would actually do that. Right. So after having done that, let's move a bit ahead. So how much does Bolt actually get paid per kilometer? Sliding. So how the calculations actually works is this. On Bolt, we know we have something like this. I'm going to be switching from my Bolt app and this, so it looks more real to you and you understand. How do you get this particular thing? Let me go backward so I can show you from the beginning how to get this. By the time you open your Bolt app, here is what you likely see, the home, right? The home. This is the home. This is what it looks like. This /dot upward here, that's what you open. Then you open your trip history and you get to your trip history. You can see a lot of trips I was unable to complete, right? You see them, you declined, you did not respond, you did not respond. You see those things because I'm looking for only trips that works for me. I'm not really here to just work for Bolt. I work for Bolt in order for me to be able to make gain. So let's leave that aside. So the trip you saw there was this. This particular trip was done today around 11:43, between 11:43 to this time. This was the ride I was doing. How much I got paid by the rider was this 10,900, and this is the breakdown. What got to me exactly is this this one right here, this right here, which is 8,281 naira 99 kobo. So this particular trip is what I screenshotted to put on that slide I was working on. So let me get to it. So how it works is trip income, right? The trip income divided by the entire distance. So I'm going to go to the next slide to show you all of these things I'm saying. So the second thing is that the driver earnings, this one is the one that now has to do with you. This one right here is the one that has to do with you. This one here is the one that has to do with both you and Bolt. While the second one, number 2, is what actually gets paid to you, what you earn per kilometer. Now let me go back a little. If you have done the amount, this is where you now make use of the information here. If you have done how much you get paid per kilometer, if you have done how much how much your car consumes rather based on fuel per kilometer, this is where this will be very much helpful to you, because by the time you divide your driver's earning by your distance covered, you will now be able to know what is left. That's what you now minus from the cost of fuel to know what is left for it. You know what I'm saying? I hope you get. For instance, when I did the calculation for my own car, my car consumes 289. Okay, let me go to where I even have it. Oh, I can't go there. It's under my notes. It's 289 point something kilometer. Let's just say 300 naira. Right, 300 naira per kilometer is what my own car consumes. So my car consumes 300 per kilometer. If at the end of the day, when I divide my driver earnings by the distance covered on this trip, I'll be able to know exactly how much is left for me. We'll do that math as I continue, right? Let's go on. Now we move on to the next thing, which is the real deal. 26.6 kilometer is the entire journey we covered here. I've had you, babe. Yeah, I've had you. Okay, 26.6 kilometer right here is a trip that was covered in this journey. Now let's see how much does Bolt get paid and how much ends up in my own pocket. Now we had 26.6 kilometer as the distance covered. Let me open the next slide. 26.6 kilometer. In fact, let me make that smaller so it's easier for us. 26.6 kilometer. I'll call that the distance covered. Now going backward, that's the distance we covered. What is the amount the rider paid me? The amount the rider paid me was 10,900. Paid, I'm gonna call that P. 10,900. Sorry, please, let me get this off. 10,000. Oh, look at me. 10,900. That's the amount the rider paid me. Now, if the rider paid me that amount, let's now see what is the total kilometer that particular rider has paid us. Who is the host now? Myself and Bolt has paid us how much for that journey. So let's divide this. This divided by 26.6 is going to give us what? Let me use this calculator from here. 10,900 divided by 26.6. In fact, math solver, which is 26.6 kilometer, 10,900 gives us 400 and I don't know where math solver gets this from. 26.6. I need to switch off my math solver. It's disturbing me. 10,900 divided by 26.6 equals to that's 409, right? 0.7. 409.7. That is what we get paid per kilometer, right? 409.7 per kilometer. That's what the rider has paid us. The question will now be, what is now my own exact amount that I get paid? Remember this formula. I've gotten this to be the first one. What is this formula saying? What do I get paid? How do I know that? I go back again to the amount I got paid, which is the exact amount. This is the amount the rider paid to me to take both. So that's going to be here. How much did I get paid, which is my own earning? My earning according to both is 8,281 naira 0.99 kobo. 8,289 naira 0.99 kobo. I'll divide this by that same distance again. Let me segregate this. 26.6. So that's gonna give us 8289.99 divided by 26.6. 0.6. So that means 311.65. So per kilometer, this is my actual earning per kilometer, which means what is now the amount that is going to Bolt? That means for every kilometer I drive, how much does Bolt get on this particular trip that is 10,900 naira that was paid to us? Let's do the maths. That's going to be 409 naira 0.7 minus 311, which is my own earning, 0.65. So that means for every kilometer I drive, Bolt gets this amount. Let me clean here. Bolt gets 98.05. Now let's go back to the exact distance we actually made, which is 26.6. So let's multiply that by 26.6. What does that give us? Which is the entire kilometer times 26.6. That's 98.05 times 26.6. That means on this trip, both got 2608. 2608.13. Let's go see what both actually got. Wow, you see how close that was? By the time we had our booking fee, 10,009. Is that my same trip? Yeah, it's the same trip. So they said both commission was this amount. By the time we now add, okay, good, let's see, 26.06 is what I called it, right? Let's see, by the time we now had this plus this, which I'm gonna do now, 2069.85, right, plus the booking fee 548.16. You see that? According to that calculation, it gives us 2618.01. 2618.01. You see that? 2608.13. So that means by the time they added this, that's what got to them. Let's see what we have in our calculation again. Oh, sorry. It should be so because the numbers I was getting on my calculator were approximately. So approximately, that is what Bolt gets on this particular journey. Now, let's do that by percentage. Let's do that by percentage. Bolt at claim. In most of the other, what they got is this, which actually, let's see if it does what falls here. They said it's 20%. They do. I think I've had, sorry, let me not say they have claimed because I've not really had it from them. 2.20% times 10,900. That's 2,180 naira. So 20% of this amount was this. So let's say 2,180 naira plus the booking fee, which is 548 28.16 2728. No, let me not do it that way. So that means what they got is definitely more than what it is, right? Because even 20% of 10,900 did not give us this 20,069. It is more. Can you see? I doubt if you can see that, but what I have on my calculator is 2,180. So this is more than what both cost their commission. But what is now the other thing? The cost and the fees. The booking fee. The booking fee is the one that made it to be more. So let's do it backward on this now. Doing it backward to know exactly how much percentage that is. 2069.85 plus 548.16 equals to this 2618.01. right? That's the exact amount that was taken. So percentage is supposed to be this divide this 2618 18.01 divided by the total amount. I need to remove this math solver. Divided by 10,900 times 100 equals to, let me see that, 2618.01 divided by 10,900 equals to times 100. So that is 24.018 blah 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 percent. So that means what both gets on this trip, on each trip, is 24.018. So that's around 24%. Now let's go to the next trip. And this time around, I'm not going to bore you with continuous talking. We're just going to go to the exact percentage they actually get. Then we go to how much you get per kilometer. Sorry. Now let's go straight down to the next one. On this trip, we want to see how much does Bolt actually get on this journey. Right? How much gets paid to Bolt. Now on this trip, the entire distance first, this trip paid 10,000 naira, paid 10,000 naira, right? The distance covered was this 27.4 kilometer. All right, now let's divide that. 10,000 divided by 27.4 will give us what? So 10,000, don't mind this, I don't understand what this is. 10,000 divided by 27.4 gives us 364.9. So this journey paid us 364 naira.9, which is 365 naira approximately per kilometer. That's what this trip got both of us paid. Now, how much was I paid exactly per kilometer? That now takes us back to exactly my own earning on this trip, which is 8,436 naira. I'm gonna do that here. amount paid to me per kilometer. Hit it like that, please. So if I was paid 8436.53, 8436.53 divided by the entire distance of that journey, which was this 27.4, 27.4, what does that give us? That gives us 8,000 for 8. Oh my god, my okay, 8436.53 divided by 27.4 equals 307.90 naira. So this is what I get paid per kilometer. For me, this is what I get paid per kilometer. Now that's settled. Let's now go to the percentage that they got on this particular trip. By percentage, that would mean, let me use the other slide here for that. What's the percentage that they got? Let's do that by calculating the total amount that goes to both. The total amount that goes to both on this trip is 2108.47 plus the booking fee. That's the total commission, 555.03, which is equals to 2,663.5. To get the percentage, that's going to be divided by the entire amount. Divided by the entire amount. I'm going to delete this math over. By the entire amount we got paid, which was this income. No, paid by rider. Okay. Oh, this both have some amount they paid. Actually, this will affect entire. Both have this what they call riders credit and promotions. So I was supposed to base this entire calculation on that. So let me quickly do that. Let me quickly do that. So that means what we had here as 10,000 is going to be 11,000. This one right here, 100. 11,100. Let me do that shortly. 11,100 divided by 27.4. It gives us 405.10 per kilometer, and that means this is gonna be okay. This okay, yeah. So this is what we get paid together per kilometer, but that does not change what I get paid per kilometer, right? It only changes what we all get paid. So we can now do the minus of this from this to know how much per kilometer both actually gets paid, but we are concerned about this, so that does not really change much. Now going back to what we were doing, I want to calculate how much exactly is the percentage that goes to both. So the percentage that goes to both is going to be the entire amount of the journey, which is 11,100. I'm gonna call this 11,100. 11,100. No, that's not it. The amount they get, the difference in the amount which is, I mean, the calculation of the amount they get paid is what gives us that. So we are going to do that again. Both commission was, according to them, 2,108. This, that's what both commission is, 108. The divide time plus I don't know why my daughter's touch is acting funny. Plus one, no, plus 555.03. This one is supposed to have a 0.47 plus 555.03 equals to 2663.5. 2663.5 divided by 11,100 equals to times 100. Divided by 11,100 times 100. Divided by 11,100 times 100. So that still goes back to 23.99 blah 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 blah. So that means the percent these people still get paid is still going back to the same thing we had earlier. If you remember, the first one initially was around the same amount, if I got that right. Yes. Where was that? It's gone. It was also around 24 something. We can quickly redo it. It was this actually. So 20, it was here, 2069. 2069.85 plus 2069.85 plus 548.16 is equal to 2618. Now remove it, divide 2618.01. Yeah, that's what I had here. So let me quickly do that here. 2618.01. That will now be 10,900 divided by 2618.01. That gives us, divided by 2618.01 equals to this. 10,900 divided by 2618.01 times 100. And my calculator is acting funny. I'm gonna just do that again. Just right. Sorry, it's supposed to be the other way around. That explains it. I'm trying to get the percentage. 2618.01 divided by 10,009 times 100. Times 100. So that gives us 24.01%. So 24.01% with this one also 23.99. That tells us one thing, that in both cases, what goes, let's now go to what we derived so far. What we derived so far is simple. Both commission is actually around 24% that it gets. If you are in doubt, that's what it is now. Then what you most likely get per kilometer as a driver, per kilometer as a driver, except there is surge that can now increase it to somewhere around 400 and something naira or probably upward, is around 320 kilometer. 320 naira, 320 naira. I gotta write that properly because that's what we derived. 320 naira per kilometer. That's an average amount of what you will get, right? While about maybe 90 naira or 80 naira per kilometer is what inDrive. Now what Bolt gets. Now let's go back to the real question. If what you get on boats when there is no surge, an average ride is 320 naira per kilometer, and for someone like myself whose car takes 280 naira or 89 naira something per kilometer on fuel, let's do that. What's now left for me if I were working with normal fuel on boats? So that's going to be 320 minus 280 equals to, that means if care is not taken, I'm going to be getting 40 naira per kilometer. And that would explain why I will be running at loss, because what I'm expected to be doing, if what boat will give me, that means I cannot really work on boats and say I'm making gain in my own case, right? So if you have learned one or two things from this, or there is something that is not so clear, you can enter my comment section. Let's talk about that, and let's know how much does your car, begin with how much does your own car actually consumes per kilometer. This information, again, what we have been able to do, again, let me put it to perspective, is that we have been able to get average amount, AVG amount a driver gets per kilometer on boat, which is somewhere around average amount that you get on boat is around 320 to 350 on a normal ride. Let's just put it that way, per kilometer on a normal ride. While the amount that comes to you now as the driver, remember, while the per kilometer, while what boat gets, boat commission is not in doubt again. Boat commission is actually around, I'm saying around because most of them are around about 24%. And what does that mean? That means, let's take for instance, you want to book, you did a whole day trip. Maybe your whole day trip was somewhere around, let's say you did 60,000 naira. Let's say you did 60,000 naira. Of that 60,000 naira, where you remove fuel, before you remove fuel and all of those things, once you remove that amount comes into your account, just remove the 24%. Let's do that together. Let's do that together. Let's say 24%. 24% times okay, 24% of times 60,000 naira. So for every 60,000 naira you made on the app, 14,400 actually must go to boats, which is the sum of their boat commission and the one they call booking fee. So that means what you are left with will be around 60,000 naira minus 14,400, which is equal to 45,600. Sorry, this is messed up. 45,600 naira. That's what you are left with. 45,600. Now, here is now the question I want to ask you. If you were to do a job of 60,000 naira, that's the next question I want us to answer. With your car, how much fuel will actually make you make 60,000 naira? I'll be expecting us in the comment section. Until another time, guys, that I bring you another episode on things like this from time to time again. We have been able to look at the following thing: how much does Bolt actually really pay you per kilometer? And we have been able to discover that what Bolt actually pays you per kilometer, it's around 320 naira to 350 naira. It's not up to 350. None of them was up to 350, but let's just say 320 to 350. That's what you actually get paid per kilometer. Because when I did the 05, that's around 320, 310, 320, 310, but none of them was less than 300 naira, to be fair. Now, and I said how to do this calculation, you can do it yourself, is to do your trip income divided by the total distance covered, and that's the amount you get paid that you collected from customer, or the amount that gets showed as the total amount you get paid, because sometimes Bolt is the one that adds. You know, when you do a ride and it shows Bolt adds also amount to your pay, that's scam payment. Sorry, let me not call it what it's not. So what that is divided by the total distance plus the driver earnings. Now go to your own earning. Now you now want to know how much what gives you this actual amount. This one we are asking here is this number 2. This is the one you are interested in. So when you do that, and the commission on both, this is our own particular commission is somewhere around 20%, while this other one is around 4%, which is the booking fee. So by the time you add the two together, both gets around 24%. Yeah, 24%. That's what goes to both. Now we did some breaking down of some trips here, and we figured out that together. Guys, I'll see you all in the comment section. Like, follow, and share for more. Bye bye.